You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the October 16th, 2024 meeting of the Michigan City Parks and Recreation Board. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Welcome and good evening and welcome to the Michigan City Park Board meeting for October 16th. If you would rise and remove your hats and repeat the pledge, please. Pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Will, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Prees.
Here.
Ms. Sperling.
Here.
Mr. Glidden.
Here.
Mr. Hoffman. Present. Mr. Hoffman. Present.
We have the meetings from our October 2nd meeting. We have the minutes from our October 2nd meeting. Are there any corrections or additions? If not, is there a motion to accept these minutes?
I move that we accept these minutes.
I just had one quick question
Sure.
regarding the minutes. It shows that I was present and absent on the minutes. I've tried that before and it didn't work.
You're right.
You were here in school.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I will make that correction.
So wonderful, thanks. So could we probably just with it amended?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's gonna make the call.
Oh, okay. Oh, thank you, Mr. Will.
So that was when you present. All in favor, say aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
We have a couple table items. We have the 2025 EVP Academy's proposal for volleyball. We have a motion to take it off the table.
I move that we take that off the table.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Last meeting we had on the 2nd, there were questions about certain things on here. Did anybody get their answers to their questions?
So, Mr. President, at the last meeting, the board had requested a more detailed breakdown of participants
Yeah.
by tournaments, leagues, camps, clinics, et cetera. So that has been submitted to you. And Mr. Balling is in the audience tonight to answer any questions you may have. And I think Mr. Glidden had a question on weekdays, how many players are coming in and not paying parking to participate in these leagues. So as you'll see, there were 23 students in the clinics and then 4 house teams, which I believe are run under EVP. So they have stickers anyway, so they're not paying to park. So the parking was minimal. And then just to remind the board, on the top of that sheet, all tournament players do pay to park on the weekends.
So looking at the sheet, thanks for coming, Mr. Balling.
Uh-huh.
Look, there were no leagues. Last year.
There's
This
one league, it's a 4-on-4 league. And it was 100% sponsored by me. House team right there took 3rd place from City Hall. We had a chamber team and I brought in 2 teams of my staff. The reason I put that on there is, our residents, since COVID, the mayor shut us down for a whole year. We haven't recovered. If you look at the history of our numbers, we haven't recovered yet. We've had 0 adults play in our program since they closed us down for a year. When the LaPorte Health Department said, you can go play. So the point I'm making is our adult division is struggling. And between myself and the rec department and the beach guys that clean the beach, we're doing our best to get more adults out there to play. So, to answer your question, yeah, I sponsored it. Cost me about $400 to put it on, between my staff, setup, prizes, awards. So, if you guys want to add into that next year, I would love for you guys to put a team in at the park.
So I got a question also about the dates. You requested 26 dates for this coming summer or 2025 summer. But last year you only used 11 dates. Am I right there?
Hmm?
Okay, and that's a common, you just don't get enough teams, so you call it off?
Well, I just explained once again, we were shut down in 2022.
Oh, no, I'm just,
And we're still recovering to get to the numbers we used to be. If you look at the 2014 News Dispatch front page, EVP expands to 3 days in a row during 4th of July. I mean, we go through what's called, obviously, cycles, but, we're on a trend moving forward. I welcome every one of you guys to come to our events. I do think we have some people from the public and some past directors that actually brought us in 1999 is present today, and they could tell you why we're here. I would love to have, every day filled and have 100% utilization. But if you look at all park district histories, about 50% utilization of court time, you're doing good.
how many Michigan City kids are involved? Have you got an idea?
Yeah, it's not enough. Not enough. It's a struggle. So I would say it's about 5% of what you see there. So those revenues, we're lucky to have them because they're not coming from Michigan City, and we promote pretty hard. Myself and Kevin Sparks is, we're working with Marquette and then to increase those numbers of participants. One, we probably gave out about 30 scholarships this past year. If you want to see those numbers, we employ probably 10 Michigan City people. I could send you those numbers. Those are all private until this contract changes. But right now, I could tell you, we employ a lot of people in the summer, helping with setup and operation. So I hope I answered your question. If not, keep going.
Okay, well, and then I just had one more question about free parking access to EVP customers, and how would that work? Or how many people are we talking about?
Shannon, I think, acknowledged that earlier today, but go ahead.
23 in the youth clinics this summer. So to encourage people to participate in the weekday events, they've always gotten free parking with their paid registration. It's just the weekend tournaments that we charge.
Yeah, and that weekday league clinic and all that's 90% LaPorte County or Michigan City. That's why we do it.
It's a physical pass, or it's a sticker, or?
They show their registration at the gate.
All right, thank you. That's all I had. Thanks.
Ross, I know, having been to many of these things, that we have some kids that come from Illinois for your Saturday tournaments, don't we?
It's about 90%.
What about your, because I didn't make any of those, during the week, your lessons, are they local or do they?
90% local
Are local? Thank
with
you.
low turnout. But, our price is right. We're less than a babysitter per hour. It's, I think one, it has to do with, obviously, COVID kind of got people to go on their phones, and, I fight this battle with about 30 other communities, and, this battle is called Parks and Rec meets computers. So, we're fighting the battle on the computer side at home. We're fighting logistics, getting the kids to the park. There's so many. So, let me know when you guys come up with some better ideas to bring more kids to the beach, because we got the coaches. Our number one coach for the last 5 years is the number one hitter for Valparaiso University, Elise Swistek. She's been an amazing addition to our staff. Her history is she started with us when she was 10. Another great story is a girl that got a full ride scholarship to Roosevelt University, my alma mater. Her name is Summer McGee, Michigan City graduate last year. Started working for me, or started playing in our tournaments when she was probably 13. Started working for us when she was a senior in high school. So we have tons of stories like this. We have Division I coaches who started coaching with us, now moved on. So it's a really good program for players as well as coaches.
Any other comments? Any comments from the audience?
Yeah.
Brian, yes.
Yeah, you say you're struggling to recover after, the COVID shutdown and so forth. Have you been able to reach out to your past participants and find out what's their reasoning for not coming back? At this point, have you heard what they're saying in terms of why they're not coming back? We know they're not coming back because of the COVID shutdown for a year, but
It's weird because our juniors came back pretty quick.
okay.
If you look at the history, and the history has been sent to them, right? The history of registration.
No, just stats from this year.
Oh, okay.
I don't have your poll.
So, the history is, we're on an upswing from there. We're still missing 90% of our adults. They've just gone other places or they've gotten old.
That's mean, Ross. I used to play.
Does that answer your question?
That's fine.
Okay. Any comments from the audience? If not.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ross.
Hello,
Oh, yes.
Scott Mellon, 200 Kenwood Place. Sounds like a great program. I'm not very familiar with it. I would only suggest that perhaps the participants would get a laminated ID type thing as to be their parking pass, probably made in the same color as that year's city sticker, just to make it easier for the gate people to see, oh, it's these people instead of registration paperwork. But I think anything we can, phones, I'm so 50 something. Okay, so I'm just trying to, whatever is easier for the people at the gate is what I was thinking. But anything we can do to facilitate this, I think it's certainly a worthy cause. Thank you.
That would be a good idea, but it's not always the same people, so the registration then would suffice, I think. It'd be the easiest thing.
Good evening, board. Kyle Anthony Petter. I'm a player for EVP. I'm one of the adult players that plays. I've been playing for the league for about 2 years since I moved to Michigan City. This was actually one of the first things when I came to Michigan City that kind of brought me into the community. So over the past few summers, this has actually been pretty big in terms of not necessarily my identity, but this has helped me to integrate pretty well into the community, not just in terms of being able to utilize our parks, but also being able to be more of a fixture in the community. And it's been something that I've really appreciated having around. So thank you so much.
Thanks.
Ross, you don't have to come up here, but how much has club volleyball influenced perhaps participation here at the beach?
Well, obviously Dunes and Aloha and all them.
Come to the mic.
Yes.
Recording.
I mean, I could write a book over 30 years of, let's just say, word comes to mind is competing, but it's not. It's really filling a void. The club programs across the United States have been doing a great job for a certain demographic. And we're talking not color, but just financial and transportation. So with our park programs that we've developed over the last 30 years, they've all grown into a program that I think the park and the community can be happy with. And I think Michigan City is one of those of my customers that have seen, growth and success. And I could just tell you that clubs really don't have a major part in it. They're all striving to hit their top line. And obviously for us, it's a partnership between Michigan City and EVP, but it's really Michigan City's program. Prior to Daryl and the park department attracting me from North Avenue Beach in Chicago, was the fact that, it was a great place to live and it was a great place to raise a family. And, I think the more people we get out playing, we can retain some really good employees. I know you have been out to our events and have seen spectators. When you look up the 2014 front page picture, you'll see the bleachers. At one time, Pat and the crew put the bleachers out there for us for the whole summer. And, spectators would come out and watch volleyball and some really good volleyball. So it is a college sport. We talked about that 10 years ago. We had the first athlete in the state of Indiana get a full ride to Florida International. It's about a $60,000 a year scholarship. Her name was Bella Kuchenberg. She played for Bishop Knoll. And, her grandfather played in the NFL. And she came to this beach almost every day to train and got a full ride to Florida International. So there is a lot of history. It is in my man cave now. I am working on getting some of those things documented on a higher level. But I do think we fill a void and clubs really don't participate. I would love them to. I give them a discount if they bring teams to our tournaments. But right now our tournaments are doing really well. It's our Michigan City community that we're trying to rebuild.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions or comments? If not, do we have, excuse me, you have a motion to accept the proposal that's before us?
I move that we accept the EVP Academy's proposal.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
We also have a table topic, the NSA BPA request. And there were some questions about, what was it, the money, Tim?
I had a question about how we spent the money, but I didn't have a problem with
We gotta take it off the table.
Yeah, do we have a motion to take this off the table?
I would move that we take the baseball, softball proposal off the table.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So yes, last time at the last meeting, we tabled it because it was questions about the $10,000 and where it was being used and if we should raise that now, and the cancellation policy, whether or not we paid them if they canceled. On the cancellation policy, the way it's worded, well, what happens is on any day, if a team plays a game, then they get charged for that day. If they don't play at all and they get canceled, then nobody pays for that day. And it works the same on our end. If somebody plays a game at the field and they cancel the games, then they still get charged for the day because they use the fields on that day. But if nobody ever played and they cancel, then we don't charge them. That's how the cancellations work. As far as the $10,000, that comes from the CBB. We've decided with information that this year we will not ask for a bigger sum of that money, but we will look into it this year to move forward into the coming years. We found that Pat has been using the $10,000 for maintenance on the field as needed. So I think the $10,000 that they give us now is good to stay at right now. So I recommend that we accept the contract.
Comment?
Yeah, so 2 weeks ago when, and Ryan's not here tonight, but he was the one that brought up that organization, they still collect from the teams, whether they play or not.
So I talked to them and other teams as well.
Okay.
That their policy is also the team, if they cancel and the team plays, then that team pays if they already played that day. If the team did not play on that day, they do not pay on the canceled day.
Mm-hmm.
So if games started at 8 o'clock, you might have 4 teams or 8 teams that play at 8 o'clock in the morning, but the teams that played at 9 o'clock wouldn't get charged, and we would still charge NSA BPA for that day because teams played on that day.
Okay. Okay. Thanks for looking into that.
No problem. And I'm looking at you because my neck just ain't turning
Yeah,
all the way
it's
back around.
Any other questions? Actually being involved in field maintenance in the game for a long time, I think it's a good deal. That's my personal opinion.
But do you think that we do need to look into that $10,000 charge and looking at, keep up with,
You mean to increase that?
right? That's something you said you guys are gonna look at over the.
Yeah.
Over going to 2026 is something that we're going to look into, only because we're teetering that line of maintenance and improvements. If the $10,000 is supposed to be used to improve the field, we're not always in a position to use the $10,000 to improve the field if we're only maintaining it with that money. So, but that's not a year by year thing. This year we had a pretty dry year. So the maintenance on the field goes down from day to day. So it just kind of ebbs and flows. So I think right now where we are, I think we're in a good place to go another year without raising.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. And I like money, so I'm
Right.
so I'm not just running away from it. I just think right now it's a good we can stay where we're at.
Okay.
Any other question from the public? Do we have a motion then to accept this memorandum of understanding with the NSA BPA?
I would move that we accept the NSA PBA MOU for 2025.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Now we're into our resolutions. We have a number of these. I read the preamble just for the first one because it's the same for all of them, and then I'll read what it's all about. So this is the 2025 Michigan City, no, I'm sorry, we have one more item. We have the bucket golf. Will, you want to tell us about bucket golf?
Yeah, so part of expanding recreation in the city, finding fun things to do, and as well as trying to drive more citizens back towards the golf courses of Michigan City. I saw bucket golf, and it's a game that's easier than the regular game of golf, faster than the regular game of golf, and a little bit more just fun-hearted and for the less serious and new to the game. We plan on having a tour that will go through the different parts. Oh yeah, I was just about to put that. We plan on having a tour and starting in April and in July. It'll be one weekend every month. Playing at Gardenia Park, Krieger Memorial Park, Water Tower Park, and Pullman Field. We just like to have a tour, something fun, get people out to different parks, different times of the year, and play for something, play for a trophy, have a kids division and an adult division, and have some fun with it.
I noticed you have 4 pictures. Are there more than 4 holes?
There are 9 holes in the game. It's 9 holes, and if nobody knows what bucket golf is, I can say it real quick. Instead of trying to hit a ball, well, I guess you still try to hit the ball in a hole, but the hole is a bucket. But if you hit the bucket, that counts as like in the hole. So your aim is to try to hit the bucket. And if you get it in the bucket, then it takes a stroke off of that hole. So fun way to play golf. Yeah.
How far from the tee box to the bucket? I'm trying to figure out if I could still play.
Man, they're all par threes, and there is a specific footage, and I can't think about what it is.
Okay, well,
Like bucket hole par three or regular golf par three?
It's gonna be bucket golf par three
Okay.
because you play with a little wiffle ball, so it ain't gonna fly that far.
Okay.
that was my next question.
I've never played, yeah.
Yeah, man, let us get hey, give us a nice weekend. I'm gonna set up bucket golf for everybody to come out and try it
That sounds great.
out. Yes, sir.
Is it like a baseball wiffle ball, or is it a golf? The golf has wiffle balls, don't they?
Golf does have a wiffle ball, but this is bigger than a golf ball, smaller than a baseball.
Okay,
Yeah.
sounds like it'd be fun.
Yeah.
You only need one club and one ball.
Yep. You only get to play with one club. You can't keep switching them out. You don't got to go that far anyway. No drivers in this game.
No troubles.
I really think you should record yourself playing and play it up here so we can see it.
No problem.
Yeah.
Second.
You got to tell me twice. Okay.
Brian needs a partner though.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments, public comments? I know this, some people may not still know what we're talking about.
You don't got to know. Just show up. Just show up and play.
Doesn't sound very complicated. And you don't have to walk a long ways.
Nope.
What's that saying, that golf is a way to ruin a good walk or something like that? This would be short. Well, what's the favor of the board here? On the Michigan City bucket golf.
I say we accept the proposal for bucket golf.
I shall second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Now we have resolution number 1050. Whereas the superintendent of the Department of Parks and Recreation has reported that certain transfer of funds are necessary within the budget of the Michigan State Park Department and Recreation because of unanticipated expenses from various accounts, which accounts do not have sufficient funds available for disbursement for said expenses. And whereas there are funds available for said purposes in various other accounts, which are not expected to be paid from said accounts during the remainder of the budget year. Whereas the Michigan State Park and Recreation Board has determined that said expenses to move the accounts out of the negative for future purchases this year is necessary, and that an account transfer should be made in order to meet expenses. Now, therefore, be resolved that the following transfer be made from the following named accounts to the following named accounts for the purpose stated therein. Decrease Fund 2506.000, Senior Center Non-Reverting Fund, Household Supplies, $1,085. Increase Fund 2506.000, Senior Center Non-Reverting Fund, Contractual of the same amount, $1,085.00. Any questions?
I have a question. It kind of relates to all of these. Moving of the money, are these done just by the director of that? Are they, is it run past you two at all, or? Just yell,
Yes, we do review these. This time of year, the majority of these are just to get us through year end.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, when we do our budgets, we can't really foresee what's coming down the road during the year. Contractual is probably the most transferred into account. We have repairs, or for instance, like Pat had a loader repair that was $50,000. So we try to budget so everything stays in its own account, but it never happens.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yes, we do review these, and Melissa's also here. She prepares these and actually process all of our transfers through the
Oh.
controller's office. So if you have like detailed questions, she'd be
okay,
happy to answer
okay.
them.
No, no, I know we've done a lot of these before, and sometimes, you know, there's a little more detail in the description as far as what that is, but this one, this round of whatever, we have like 4 or 5 of them. Some of them are pretty salty, so I just want to make sure that at least you guys were looking at it. Not that I don't trust the directors, but I just wanted to ask that question, so.
Any other question? Motion to accept resolution number 1050.
I would move that we accept resolution 1050.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution 1051. Now therefore be it resolved that the following transfers be made from the following named accounts to the following named accounts for the purpose stated therein. Decrease Fund 2507.000 Concession Fund. 435.101 electric, $5,320. 411.014 seasonal wages, $8,000. Increase Fund 2507.000 Concession Fund 429.001 other supplies of $13,320. Questions? Comments? We have a motion to accept resolution 1051.
I move with accept resolution 1051.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution 1052. Now therefore be it resolved that the following transfers be made from the following named accounts to the following named accounts for the purpose stated therein. Decrease Fund 2204.502 Administration Fund 413.014 Vacation Buyback of $8,578.00. And Fund 411.014 Seasonal Wages, $39,000.00. Increase Fund 2204.502 Administrative Fund 421.005 Office Supplies, $389.00. 433.010 Printing Contractual, $1,069.00. 435.040 Water, $13,500.00. 439.090 Contractual, $16,120.00. And 454.010 Fees and Bank Fees, $16,500.00. Do we have questions on any of those numbers?
I'm assuming those bank fees are credit card fees, right? Okay, thanks.
Yeah, and just a note on those, like we're closing out our third quarter right now. Our parking revenue in the third quarter was up 41%. So the majority of the bank fees are attributed to that.
Okay.
So that was a 37% increase in the third quarter.
Mhm.
Looking through it, yeah, the majority is parking. But it's also reservations or anything else that gets run through the park office point of sale.
Okay, thanks, Shannon.
Any other questions? We have a motion to accept resolution 1052.
I'll make a motion to accept resolution 1052.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And we have resolution 1053. Now therefore be it resolved that the following transfers be made from the following named accounts to following named accounts for the purpose stated wherein. Decrease Fund 2508.000 Golf Fund 411.013 Seasonal Salaries of $23,528.00. Increase Fund 2508.000 Golf Fund 421.005 Office Supplies, $22. 423.011 Building Materials, $4,000. 423.031 Small Tools, $106.00. 432.040 Communications Telephone, $3,200.00. 439.090 contractual, $4,500 and no cents. 454.010 fees and services charges, $6,200 and no cents. 429.001 other supplies, concessions, $2,000 and no cents. And 429.007 miscellaneous merchandise, beer, $3,500 and no cents. Questions or comments?
I do. This one says fees and service charges instead of bank fees. It's the same. Okay, credit card fees. And then for this other supplies, the concessions for both of those concessions and beer, do we have any kind of like P&L or balance sheet on that part of the golf?
It's due Friday,
It's due Friday. Okay, cool. Thank you.
third quarter.
Okay, thanks.
Any others? We have a motion then to accept resolution 1053.
Make a motion to accept resolution 1053.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And the one you guys been looking for, 1054. Now therefore be it resolved that the following transfers be made from the following named accounts to the following named accounts for the purpose stated therein. Decrease fund 2507.000 concession fund 452.000. Interfund operating transfer of $8,000. Increase fund 2204.504 zoo fund 422.034 zoo food and 439.090 contractual. Both are $4,000 and no cents. Questions or comments?
What is the interfund operating transfer?
So the ordinance that established our concession fund allows for annual transfers from the non-reverting concession into the zoo operating. In essence, lowering their deficit or helping them out with vet care and zoo food, typically towards the end of the year if they need it. We've got several non-reverting funds that are set up that way. Another example would be the senior center. So the non-reverting fund takes in all of the revenue for the rental of the facility, but it can pay back our maintenance budget because Pat's budget pays for all the custodial services for all these rentals. So it captures money, but it can also be put back into operating if necessary. The zoo education fund is non-reverting. All the program revenue goes into that. That can do an annual transfer back to Jamie's operating budget if needed to pay for the education curator. So it's just a mechanism to be able to move from non-reverting into operating when and if needed. We don't always do the transfers. In fact, the concession fund can transfer up to $18,000 into zoo, but Jamie thinks 8 was sufficient and we'd rather keep our money in non-reverting if we can.
Sure.
And build that up for some capital improvement. Right now we're looking at the gift shop at the zoo.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other comments? Motion to accept resolution 1054.
I would move that we accept resolution 1054.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Are there any other items that have omitted or that have been added, Shannon? Is that it?
Nope, not tonight.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks,
Report of officer. Report of officer, superintendent report.
Yes, thank you. So included in your packet, I believe, was the annual report for Trail Creek Week that I reported on last year. Again, a successful partnership event with 522 students that got to participate. There's a great photo in here. This was actually one of the groups that I watched load up, and just the looks on their faces like kind of explains the whole program. I had one of the kids that got in this boat that stopped me on the dock and said, "Am I gonna die?" So I followed his boat coming back in, and they're all chanting and singing, and it's a great program. I appreciate the park department's support of that. Without our support, this would not happen. And I have a very short report tonight. On October 3rd, I attended Ivy Tech's Leadership Training Session 1, which was held in the council chambers. I'll be attending Session 2 tomorrow. That's the final session. All the managers in the city have been signed up for both sessions in 2 different classes by the mayor. So it was a good team building experience. Pat was in my class, Daryl's in my class. We got to play with Legos. That was fun. So tomorrow will be my second day. That is an all-day 8 to 5 class. On October 10th, we met with the city's new website provider, Sarah Group. Will was in Atlanta, but he attended the meeting virtually. So we're kind of stepping through the process of what a new website is going to look like for us. We're all in agreement. We're not happy with our current website, and I've not been for many years. So this is an exciting opportunity to build something that actually works with us. Will be heavily involved in this as we're looking for recreation software that will integrate into this program. And not just recreation, but like our rentals and everything that we do would be online. So we'll keep you posted as that progresses. Also on the 10th, I presented at the Michigan City Economic Development Corporation's new Neighborhood Leadership Academy. This is a transformative program designed to empower local residents to become active leaders in our community. Many presenters, there's a big focus on government officials and trying to reach out to the neighbors to let people know what we do, where we're at, who to contact. So it was great. I got a lot of great questions. There were 32 students in the class that I presented to. So that was exciting. A lot of them were talking about Fetter's Alley. That's the buzz around town right now. So I appreciate the invitation to do that. And then lastly, last week I participated in a focus group for Health Foundation of LaPorte County. They're working on a 3-year strategic plan. So they're having many focus groups right now with community leaders. So I was happy to participate in that 90-minute session. And that is the end of my report. I have no vandalism, happily, and be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for the superintendent? Thank you for your report.
You're welcome.
Assistant Superintendent, Will?
Yes, so last week I was in Atlanta for the National Recreation and Parks Conference. And I will have a presentation at the next meeting, with the workshop coming after this one. I didn't want to stretch this one out too long with the presentation of what I got out of down there, but that was my whole last week, and it was a great experience. I think the conversations, even more so than the sessions, the learning sessions, were awesome. I already have many directors from all around the country already like emailing me saying that we need to get work on the projects that we talked about while we were down there. So a ton of help came from that. As Shannon just said, I spent a lot of time working on rec management software while I was down there, talking to a lot of different companies, just trying to get as many of our online needs met as possible with the next move that we make. So just going through each company diligently to make sure that we're getting what we need out of the software before we dive into something new. And still really working with Terry and a couple other people to nail down a schedule for 2025. So we can go out and collectively start looking for funding to make sure that we can do what we want to do in Michigan City for the citizens of the city. So that's all I got for today. Any questions?
Any questions for Will? Can't wait to hear your report from Atlanta.
I don't like Atlanta, but it was fun.
Planning Commission liaison, Mr. Hoffman.
Yes, sir. The Planning Commission was excited to meet on September 24th to discuss 4 petitions on the agenda. Petition P102-24 requesting an expansion for the lot for Apex Car Care was approved by the commission. And then petition 906-24-1 requesting minor subdivision for Grandma's attic self-storage minor subdivision was approved by the commission as well. And then petitions 903-24-1 and 903-24-2 were both presented by Pyramid Properties for residential townhouses and villas at Moore Road and US Highway 12. Mr. Macri from the Pyramid Properties read a letter in the meeting stating that he decided to withdraw his applications for the developments. Attorney Hale requested the commission vote to continue the petitions until the next meeting, and the commission approved. Next meeting is scheduled for next Tuesday, 10/22. The end.
Thank you. Port Authority, I did attend the meeting. There isn't anything to report back to us. Mr. Glidden, Zoological Society.
The Zoological Society met last week and they had a short business meeting that we were working on their schedule for next year. That's my report.
Attorney's report.
Nothing to report, thank you.
Any director's reports tonight? Department of Finance, Mr. Glidden.
I have the Michigan City Park Department claims docket for October 16th, 2024. Municipal $84,690.78, and that is the total claims, $84,690.78. And I would move that we approve the claims docket.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I don't have a payroll, so I have gifts and donations. LaPorte County Convention Visitors Bureau zoo donation to Boost sponsor, $450. Unknown donation, zoo donation miscellaneous, $72. Allegis made a zoo donation as a Boost sponsor, $450. Minor transfers, decrease the account electric, $500. Decrease the account other supplies concessions, $3,000. Decrease account household supplies, $5,000. Increase account contractual, $500. Increase account other supplies, $7,000. Increase account office supplies, $1,000. I would move that I'll finish the whole minor transfer thing, I guess. I have from the administration fund, decrease the account COVID supplies, $2,300. Increase the account other supplies, $2,300. And the golf fund, decrease account sick buyback, $1,646. Increase the account vacation bonus, $1,646. I would move that we accept and approve these minor transfers.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Zoo endowment invoices totaling $10,403.06 were paid to Lowe's for Red Barn fence repairs, $1,115.95. Materials resources, hand washing sink for the public, $4,827.11. Holiday Construction Group, Big Cat Keeper entrance door repair, $4,560. And I would move that we approve this zoo endowment invoices.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Board of Works invoices totaling $188,925 were paid at 10/8/24 Board of Works meeting 2 Midwest Golf and Turf for 2025 golf carts, club car gas carts. That is $188,925. And I would move that we accept these invoices from the Board of Works.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I have the payroll number 2024, 9/15/24 through 9/28/24, pay date 10/4/24. Total payroll, $91,161.20. I would move that we approve this payroll.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Is that it, Mr. Glidden?
Yes, sir.
Any comments from the public?
Hello, Scott Nolan, on Kevin Place. I'm new to this board, so I know I can't really ask questions, but those transfers all confuse me, those petitions or resolutions to transfer. It sounds like a lot of it was paying bills, like would normally be called claims, like the bank fees, for example. If you could just give a primer on what those transfers were. And then my other comment is just a shout out to the parks maintenance crew who has done such a fantastic job maintaining the beach through all our events and everything they do. Honestly, just wanted public recognition to them, doing a really great job. But if you could explain what all those transfers were in layman's language, I think the public might appreciate it, if you would.
The resolutions, they're taken from one line in the zoo, for example, that has money left over. In other words, they didn't have to buy food for the cats or whatever, but they needed more money to feed the animals with hooves. So they just moved it over to that one. So it's just kind of moving money around that they already have. Just they don't have enough in the account, but they do have enough in the zoo account. So that's as simple as I can make it.
So I can add to that. So a minor transfer is within the same fund. We have 13 funds at the park department that we manage with thousands of line items budgeted. So if we are transferring from a supply account in our admin fund to another supply account, so one is for office supplies, one is for medical supplies, that's just a minor transfer. If we are transferring from, I'm trying to make this easy. So each fund is separated into personal services is a 1, supplies is 2, contractual services 3, 4 is capital, and like bank fees. So if I want to go from a 1 account to a 3 account, I have to do a resolution. If I want to go from Fund A to Fund B, I have to go to the city council. So the funds are all governed by ordinances, which is law. So we have to follow what we can receipt into the fund and how we can spend it. But this time of year, it's very typical for us to do a lot of transfers. For instance, in our 24 budget, we did not project parking to be $300,000 more in revenue than last year. That came with a price tag of credit card fees. So not scrambling. Absolutely. So it's, again, our department is so old, our facilities are old, and we're diverse. We have animals, so things happen. We end up transferring a lot more, I'm sure, than any other department in the city. That's simple enough. You're welcome.
Any other questions? Before we adjourn, just like to remind people that after this meeting here, there's going to be a meeting to discuss the Millennium Plaza fountain, an assessment report, and questions and comments and suggestions, I suppose, will be review the assessment and then any public comments, and then the mayor, the park board, and the city council comments. So you're all invited. Our next meeting will be, are there any comments from the board? Oh, sorry, Brian.
It's okay.
Gotta sit close up here.
I'll start throwing my hand up. I'll just put my hand up. All right. I'm happy to see, we were talking about, going online to be able to do a lot of different things now with the parks. And that is also happening in the city as well, trying to fix some of our systems so people can pay tickets, fines, violations, things of that sort online. It's going to create a much more efficient system that we have down here for our workers. And so the park is moving in that direction. The rest of the city is moving in that direction as well. And I think that's going to pay off for us in the long run. And, we had money from the ARPA funds, and I didn't know Shannon was part of the ARPA funds that we passed. Does that be used with the parks, or is that parks' own money? I don't remember how that broke down.
Some of the funding from for Fetters Alley Playground was ARPA funding.
Got it. Okay.
Some of the Fetters Alley Playground funding came from the ARPA funds. There was also $500,000 earmarked for neighborhood and park improvements and beautification. So some of that money was recently spent on the skate park murals at Pullman Park. I believe the rest of it is not spoken for at this point.
Thank you.
Huh?
God, I don't know how she remembers all this stuff like that. And also, I probably should have asked this during one of the reports, but checking on Water Tower Park, how close to completion is Water Tower Park? Somebody came in at the council meeting last night and said it was completed.
So the schedule is completion by Halloween. However, we've got some back ordered parts for the large play system. And those aren't expected in until around Halloween, so probably the end of November by the time we finish up. So the last items that need to be included or completed are the large play structure, but that has to be done before we can do the poured in place rubber surfacing. So the landscaping is going on right now. That's almost done. So really, that's the last thing.
Yeah.
We're waiting on a back order,
All right,
unfortunately.
thank you.
So ribbon cutting probably in the spring.
Spring.
Any other questions or comment? A reminder again, the workshop is going to be here at 6 o'clock. So I'm going to ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Mr. President.
Thank you. I didn't realize.